Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Brother Gaming HD here today. In today's video, I'm bringing you some Duelist gameplay on Farmhouse, and I just want to sit down and discuss why I have not decided to buy Killing Floor 3, and just seeing the development of the game from all the way back from February to March, all the way up to current date right now. Even the stress tests leading up to the major launch in July on July 24th, I was not very impressed with some of the changes that they decided to do with the game, or should I say their lack of changes to the game before the major launch. And sure, I do understand that back when Killing Floor 2 was the main game and it was the main staple of the franchise, it kind of had that same issue with a lack of content, right? Killing Floor 3 runs into that same issue, even though I came into Killing Floor 2 a little bit way after it was done being the main product, and then moving on to Killing Floor 3. And the thing is, though, Killing Floor 3, the only thing that's even holding that game up right now is the name alone, Killing Floor. Everything that Killing Floor is for Killing Floor 3 currently, there's really nothing else that resembles the game overall. The guns don't really have an impact at all whatsoever. They kind of feel like some marshmallow guns here and there. And don't get me wrong, I understand the game is still very early on past its official launch date, and it's going to end up getting the whole entire perk thing reverted back and removing specialists and all that along lines of that nature in a future update. But the thing is, though, why on earth would I want to spend $40 on Killing Floor 3 while I can just have an unlimited amount of gun selection within Killing Floor 2 and being able to pick some of the guns that I just want to choose to play, and even some of the maps here in KF2, to be honest. I have more content here right now than what Killing Floor 3 has to offer currently. Sure, later down the road, they're going to be adding more maps, they're going to be adding more guns, they're going to be adding more bosses down the road. But the thing is, though, this is the type of thing that we just kind of have with modern gaming in general. They just drip feed you content, finding ways to keep coming finding ways to keep bringing you back to the game and keep on playing, right? That's the name of the game in modern gaming, and sometimes people really just don't want to wait for that content drop. Everybody wants, the content right there and then in their hands. But then that's also an issue because at a certain point, people it's like, oh, the game's boring, it's stale, it's repetitive, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to literally holding me, keep bringing me back to play the game, right? And sure, they did ended up having the whole entire gunsmith system and all that stuff to at least make the guns have a little bit more variety. And that's the thing when it comes to variety in Killing Floor 3, the gun selection is not that great compared to what Killing Floor 2 has right now with it being done. And I'd rather be playing Killing Floor 2 instead of playing the new Killing Floor 3 game, because on one hand I'd rather have the content right now, but then yet again that's just me being a little bit picky. I understand it's modern gaming, we live in that era, but people just want a full polished game with all the works, with no bugs, no issues. But sometimes you have to rush the game out in order to make a profit, right? And I even saw some gameplay of Ready or Not. Like, I did not know the status of that game's development, but shit, the game looks so good. The game looks so polished to a certain degree. Sure, I might have a couple issues here and there, but at least the gameplay loop looks fun and replayable to a certain degree, right? But Killing Floor 3, it doesn't have that replayability factor. It doesn't have that factor for me, in my opinion, mostly because of the fact that there's not a whole lot of content at launch, even though I am aware that Killing Floor 3 had a little bit more content at launch compared to what Killing Floor 2 had to offer. But at the same time, it's like time in and time out, these developers, they always promise, we'll do this, we'll do that, we're listening to the community. And I know Killing Floor 3, it's going to get in a better spot, it's going to get in a better place over time. They just need, the resources and the time to cook Killing Floor 3 in order to put it in a better polished state. But people really don't want to wait for the game to get polished off or, get better and improve. If the game doesn't work or if the game isn't up to somebody's particular standards, they're either going to move on and go play another game, or they're going to go back and play KF2 or KF1 respectfully, because those games are something that people will just go back and play because there's a whole lot more content, there's a whole lot more guns to play with, and there's not a whole lot of weird modern day era type esque things like there were microtransactions in Killing Floor 2. It's not perfect either, and season passes and all that stuff, but the thing is, we got freaking battle passes now in Killing Floor 3 to change the way your character looks in a first person shooter. And it's like, okay, I'm playing a first person shooter. Why would I want cosmetics in a first person game? That does not make any sense to a certain degree. The only people that are going to be seeing that are the people that you are playing with in co op. And that's about it, really. But Killing Floor 3, it's just in a very interesting place right now. It's still early on past it's fairly early on into its full launch and still needs some time to cook here and there. But some people aren't going to wait. Some people are going to move on, like I said, and continue to maybe keep a tab on the game, see how it's doing, see how it's performing, and go from there. People might pick it up later on when it goes on sale for $20, or they might pick it up when they improve a whole lot of the issues that the game has right now currently. And maybe some people will pick it up when there's more guns, a wider selection of weapons to pick from compared to some of the guns that are in Killing Floor 3 right now, which is not a whole lot, and the map selection isn't that great either. 8 maps at launch, maybe about like 4 guns per class, 4 weapons per class, I should say, and that's about it, really. Which I don't know how many guns or how many characters or perks that they had when Killing Floor 2 launched, but I'm just going to be sticking with Killing Floor 2 and just play it over Killing Floor 3 because I have more fun with this game than I did playing the beta of KF3. Because on one hand, the maps are close quarters combat and very chaotic, as you're seeing in the gameplay, while there might be some maps in Killing Floor 3 that are close quarters, but at the same time, some of the movement they decided to do kind of feels more like a Call of Duty-esque type movement, like the jump sliding, and it just kind of feels like a cheap get-out-of-jail-free card instead of literally having to just throw grenades at your feet and hopefully that's enough to literally blow up the Zeds to get them away from you in a way to ensure that you give yourself enough breathing room or some breathing room to return fire or continue resuming fire on the Zeds that are literally pushing you non-freaking stop. But Killing Floor 3 is just, like I said, it's in a very interesting spot right now to where it is currently. I'm just going to stick around, just see how Killing Floor 3 continues to develop while playing some Killing Floor 2 in the background, because sure, this game might be 10 years old, almost 10 years old at this point, but at the same time, I'm having fun. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And it's been your boy Brother Gaming, everybody, and if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the bell notifications, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out and goodbye, everybody.